Okay, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I am our guest speaker today, so congrats on that. You're very lucky to have me. Today, we're going to talk about it's like a combination of mindset, goals, how we can kind of really start to think about this year and to think about moving forward, right? Because again, I think a lot of us are stuck, right? A lot of us are stuck in the crap that happened last year, right? 2024 was not the best year for real estate across the country. Some people did great, some people didn't. Some people did better than 2023, some people didn't, right? But that's all behind us, right? Sales is always about looking forward. And 2025 is half over, right? I think the year 2025 is half over. What you've done already is going to determine, what you did at the end of 2024 and what you've already done this year is going to determine what's happening over the next, 3 to 4 months. And so what we're doing now is going to affect, 4 to 6 months out, right? So 2025 is half over already, right? Well, not really exactly, right? But we're going to talk about 5 things to do to be successful this year. So again, there's 11 months actually left, right? So we're at the end of January. So, the first question to ask yourself, and again, these are all rhetorical questions. I don't need answers to this, but how did your 1099 look, right? You guys should have gotten it at this point. If you didn't get it, it's in Money Matters. You can look it up, right? How did you do this year, right? Is that the goal that you had for yourself, right? And what do you want your 1099 to look like next January, right? In December, do you want to look back and say, where are we with this number, right? Everyone's motivation is different, and I think it's important to remember what your motivation is and why you are doing this, right? Some people have a goal to travel, right? Some people want to purchase a new home. Some people have loans they need to repay, right? I need to pay for college for my son, right? That's why I work, right? I need to get some money into an account to make sure he can go to college if he wants to do that, right? And so what we do today dictates what happens tomorrow. And I think there are 5 steps and 5 things that we can focus on to make the most out of the rest of this year and to really reset ourselves for success in 2025, right? So the first is mindset. The second is goals. The third is our schedule. The fourth is how we're learning and what we're doing. And the fifth is, prospecting in our network. So we're going to take a little bit of time to kind of look at these things. And again, as a brief overview, just make sure that you guys are thinking about these and you've set yourself up for success this year in terms of what you're doing and how you're thinking, right? So again, we talk about this a lot, but you really can't be successful in this business if you don't want to be successful. And again, we all come from different backgrounds, have different beliefs and things like that. Whatever you believe, the law of attraction can be a powerful force, right? And the law of attraction says like likes like, right? Like if you're positive in your thinking, positive things should happen, right? And even if you don't believe that, right, which I do, but if you don't, no problem there, right? You need to be prepared for the adversity that happens in this field. When I'm talking to a new agent and I'm going over, what I think important characteristics of an agent are, there's 2 things that I really think that you need, and I probably told many of you this, but though many of your experience who are on here, right? The first thing is you have to like people. If you don't like people and being around people, this is not the business for you, right? You have to like getting to know people, being around them, because you're going to be spending a lot of time with people that you might not fully agree with, right? Or might have different opinions of. And if you can't put on a smiling face and deal with that, not the business for you, right? The other thing is that you have to be positive. And I think this can be very hard because of the adversity that we face in this field, right? We can work with people for days, weeks, months, years, and they never buy, sell, or rent something from us. Are you okay with that? Right? Are you okay spending a lot of time with someone and it not working out? And again, with new agents, how I tell people to get around this, and I think it kind of is a good thing for everyone, right? Is that every time we are with someone, we are learning and working our craft, right? Our job is to know about real estate and to know how to work with people. And every obstacle we come across, every person that doesn't rent an apartment, it's not, oh, I wasted my time with this person, right? Oh, I can't believe they didn't rent, buy, sell, whatever it was, right? We have to say, wow, I'm very lucky. I was able to go and see 5 new buildings, 10 new buildings, 100 new buildings that I didn't know before. And the reason for that is because I was working with Mike, right? Just because he didn't rent anything, I'm better at my job because I worked with him, right? He asked me questions I didn't know. I knew where, and I know the answers now. He took me into neighborhoods I didn't know. I know that neighborhood now, right? That is how you have to set your mindset, right? Not Tom's a jackass. He just wasted 5 days of my time, right? What Dewey's so arrogant. I can't believe, whatever it is, right? We have to be positive in this, right? And every single thing, right? Again, I'm going through a situation I never have ever gone through before with a potential buyer. There's a strong likelihood that this contract, which has been dragging out for like 9 months now, won't go through. And I have to smile and go forward with it, right? Because I learned something. I did learn something. I saw new properties. I learned a new neighborhood, right? And again, it sucks because I wish I'd made money off of it. And hopefully I will, who knows? But you gotta tweak your mindset, right? If you are only in this for the money, you can be lucky, but you might be disappointed, right? So set your mindset that I'm going to be successful and everything I do is helping me learn, right? And you have to think about, why are you an amazing agent, right? Why are you good at your job? Why do people want to work with you? You got to know that. You got to think that. And you have to believe that they should want to work with you, right? Because they have tens of thousands of options if it's not you. So again, think, I'm an amazing real estate agent because, and again, for me, I have tons of experience and I can do a better job than everyone else. And I believe that, right? And again, if you're new, you're going to be successful because what is that, right? Are you going to work harder than everyone else? Are you going to work on holidays? Are you going to work on weekends? Are you going to, know the ins and outs of the market better than other people, right? You got to set your mindset and your intentions with that, right? So again, in this mindset thing, one thing that we always want to do is we want to think of, what did we do yesterday, right? And again, Dale Carnegie, who many of you know, is like a amazing motivational speaker from like the 1920s and 30s, who I think his book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, is still one of the seminal works on, personal interactions. One of the things that he said he did every day was he would look back at the day, every interaction he had with other people, and figure out what he did right and wrong so that he would be better at it, right? And again, I'm not saying go back and do that, but I'm saying, what is one thing that you did yesterday that you can change today to be a little bit better, right? Maybe it's how you treated someone, right? Maybe it's how you looked at something, right? Maybe you did something really well and you can keep working on that, right? Maybe you can say, and again, it can be a mental thing. It can be a thing that you actually did, right? Again, Tom, I'm going to pick on you as I always do. Tom wrote 50 letters yesterday, right? And that's a great thing that he did. Maybe he'll write 51 today because he did a good job and he wants to continue on that, right? So think of that. And again, I think I said this already, but always look at the positive, right? You have to be positive in a bad market, right? And you have to be positive when things go wrong, right? You are the problem solver in the transaction. You are the person who has to always be smiling, right? You can say, wow, this really sucks, but here are the benefits of what happened, right? If you're not positive, people aren't going to want to work with you, right? If you come off as a sourpuss, if you come off as someone who's always negative, if you come off as someone who's always, arrogant, again, maybe you'll do okay for a time, but people aren't going to want to work with you. They're not going to refer you to their friends and family if they're not like, wow, Dewey was amazing. He's so nice. He's so happy, right? So think about that, right? Again, people have so many options out there, right? So you gotta stay positive and look on the positive side of things, right? There's an obstacle, figure out how to go around or go over it, right? That's the whole thing. And that's part of our job, right? Getting around these obstacles and being ready to troubleshoot anytime there is a negative in a positive way. Let me drink some coffee. Sorry, I'm talking a lot. So the next thing that we want to have are goals, right? And again, there's this whole idea out there that goals have to be what's called SMART, right? And so SMART goals are specific, they're measurable, they're attainable, they're relevant, and they're time-based, right? So, the most important thing here is, again, I could say, again, a goal could be, and it's not a SMART goal, I want to make $1 million this year, right? Why? Because that is not measurable, right? Well, it is measurable. Sorry. It's sort of a lot of these, but I mean, is it attainable? Maybe, right? But what we want to do is kind of backtrack from there and say, I want to do 10 rentals by the end of this month, right? Because that is a little more actionable and specific, right? Or again, sorry, I'm saying this wrong. A bad goal is I want to make a lot of money this year, right? A good goal is I would like to close 10 deals by the end of this year, right? Because those are smart goals, right? So think about what your goals are. And again, what we want to do is we want to have goals that run the gamut, right? So again, our long-term goals, right? Let's say it's having 10 closings by December, should be backtracked into medium-term goals and short-term goals so that we can actually get to that point, right? Again, we all did, or most of us did, the business plan and things like that, which went over some of these goals in terms of a financial aspect and things like that. And at the one-on-ones that most of you have had already, Michael and I have helped you kind of backtrack from there to figure out what you need to do to get to certain thresholds, right? So again, here's an example, right? And a very, I think, manageable example, especially for a brand new agent, right? I want to do 4 sales by the end of this year, right? And so what does that mean? That means that on average, again, to get to that 4, if we think that it takes, about 3 months for things to close, we have to average a sale every 2 months, right? So again, to get to that goal of 4 closed by the end of this year, given the timeline we have left and stuff like that, approximately that, right? So then if we go back from that goal, right, to get to that sale every 2 months or something in contract every 2 months, right? How many buyers do you need to have that you're taking out to get to that contract, right? And that number is going to be different for everyone. It's based on your conversion rate. It's based on your experience. It's based on how good those buyer leads are, right? Again, if you say, again, for instance, Michael, what's the general conversion that your team has had on StreetEasy leads?
For close goal
Close.
it's important because the goal is 3%.
But what is
we're a little over around 2.
Around 2%. Okay, so that means for every 100 leads that you get, 2 of those will close. So 1 in 50, let's say. And the goal is higher. And again, it's different for everyone. But again, think about that. To get 1 in a contract, you need 50 leads, right? And again, for some people, it's about 10 people that you're taking out. And again, a lead, someone that you're actually taking out is more of a customer, and then it turns into a client and things like that. So again, we really just have to kind of backtrack these numbers, and it's going to be different for everyone, right?
Yeah, Jason, if I can just say one thing, this leads into mindset absolutely inextricably, because if your mindset is, I have made 100 calls and I can only get 2 people to close, you're going to think of yourself as failing 98 times. But what you have to put into context is average. The best converters in this business who do this convert in around maybe, I would say, probably a 15%, depending on where the lead came from and stuff like that. If you are doing your own reach out, if you are doing StreetEasy, if you are doing Zillow, for Zillow zip codes, when you pay all that money, a 2% conversion is the average for the good StreetEasy Building Expert. The best team conversions are in the 4 to 5%. So keeping in your mind that no is not a condemnation of your work ethic or you personally. It's part of the process. Those of us who are in the performing arts, we've been told no more times than anyone can ever shake a stick. I mean, hundreds of auditions, basically ignored, kicked out of the room, second guess everything about our life choices. But it comes down to the fact that one person at some point said, no, this is the voice I'm looking for, or the actor I'm looking for. That's the case here. This is the agent I'm looking for. They have the property I'm looking for. We connect in a way that's going to make sense for me, and you move forward. If you focus on that positive, when you put in, I need to make this many calls, it's because you want that positive result in the end. The mindset from the beginning when setting this up is so important. Otherwise, you're gonna be depressed all the time.
Totally. And
Can I?
So, yeah, please.
No, I was just gonna say that I think that that context of what industry standards are really helps. Because to your point, and going back to the marketing that we were talking about last time we had one of these meetings, you know, understanding that email open rates are, you know, in real estate industry are only about 1.5%. You know, and click-through rates in general across all industries is 2%. So if you have a click-through rate on something that is matching 2%, you're doing really well. For this industry, if you have an email open rate that's 1.5%, you're doing really well. It may not feel that way whenever you're fishing for leads and what have you, but you're still performing at really great industry standards. And that is what you need to focus on, or what I try to focus on as good return. Michael said I make everything quantifiable, but part of the reason why I make everything quantifiable is so that I can remain positive and feel like I'm not just like shooting everything in the
Totally.
dark and nothing's happening. So,
Totally.
Yeah,
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
So for you professionals who have been in this business a long time, if you go back to your 1099 and you earned $100,000, what is a reasonable budget? A percentage of your 1099 you need to or should direct to your business?
So again, everyone is going to have a very different number on that, and a lot of it depends on how you're doing your business. Mine is always, I plan on spending about 10% minimum, and in the last couple of years, it's probably been closer to 20% of what I make back into my business. Right. And again, there's many, many ways of doing that. Like for me, the biggest one these days is Street Easy. I spend almost $1,000 a month on Street Easy. So.
yeah. I mean, that's why you need a business plan.
Yeah, and everybody has different budgets. I mean,
Everybody has different budgets.
It's basically, but you can direct 20% because you're successful, you've been in the
Totally,
business
totally.
for 15 years.
Totally.
Brand new agents.
Can't do that. And again, we're going to talk about at the end of this of everything I'm going to tell you that you can do is for free. Everything I'm going to say that you should be doing is 100% free. You pay nothing for it. So then what I say is once you close your first deal, take 10% of that and invest that. And that's how you start the process of having funds to invest in your business, right? So I'm not saying, I think you can get started with little to no money. So, again, 10 buyer leads on average. And again, everyone's going to be different with this. So to get those leads, I have to make calls or emails or prospect or spend money or whatever it is, right? And because of that, you need to plan time to prospect, right? And you need to plan time to plan, right? You need to have time every week where you're sitting down and saying, this is my schedule for the week, right? What am I doing, right? And plan breaks. That's the most important thing. People can get burned out. You need a day off. Everyone needs at least a day off or 2 half days off or whatever it is every week, right? For me, it's Saturday. I try to do nothing on Saturdays, right? Because my husband will kill me if I do stuff on Saturdays. So, but make sure you're planning time off for, and again, a lot of you are like, sorry to bother you on a Saturday. I'll still respond, but plan your time, right? Figure it out. And if you can, don't take Sundays off because that's when most people can go out for sales at least. So, okay, I'm going to keep going. Okay. So you got to love to learn, right? And again, this is kind of going back to basics. There's so much out there that you can do to immerse yourself more in real estate, right? And if you're on this call, or this meeting, and you're saying, I haven't done anything in a while, I don't know what's going on, I have nothing to do, right? Like, there's gonna be 2 things I'm gonna tell you to do. One is just re-immerse yourself in stuff, come to some of the workshops that Michael are doing, right? We have my YouTube channel, which goes over basically everything. We have Weichert University, which has a ton of recorded videos. You guys have access to Business Assist Plus, right? That's not only learning, right? That's learning how to use some of our systems, but it's also going to springboard you into actually doing things that are going to get you more business, right? So you can also read blogs, right? And again, in saying this, I don't want you to become a professional academic, right? I don't want you to just go to trainings that are, or just watch videos and stuff like that. You got to put into action, right? And that's what Michael and I do at our work groups. That's what Business Assist will help you do, right? So learn, but then use it, right? Figure out one, and again, this business is so broad, right? There's like a bajillion million things that you can do. right? Start small, start with one thing and start doing it, and it will build from there. I promise you, if you do it consistently. You got to wake up your network, right? And again, I'm just saying this because this is kind of the lowest hanging fruit of people that you can start to get into conversations with to start to re-engage and to regenerate business for yourself, right? So again, it's still January, right? If you forgot to say Happy New Year to someone, and I did this on my walk here, right? There's a customer I have not talked to in a while. Eunice and I work them together. Good, very good customer. I know that they're probably going to buy for their kids down the road. It's been so, I've been just like, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. And I was walking by the new Disney building the other day, right? And so I texted them saying, hey, just walking by the building, which is near their house. Looks great. How are you guys doing, right? And again, think of reasons to re-engage with people, right? A small gift, right? Happy New Year or a happy 2025 note, whatever it is, right? Let them know how you're doing, right? Last year was a great year, my best year yet. I closed X million, right? Awesome thing to say. Last year was challenging. I'm looking to expand my business more, right? They're going to want to help you, right? And people like to see you in person or get handwritten notes, right? A lot of this is kind of part of that Buffini model of re-engaging all your past customers. And again, they don't have to be past customers, your friends, your family friends, whoever it is, right? Let them know your goals and let them help you to attain it, right? We talked about this at the meeting. You can text someone, hey, I'm trying to expand my buyer business this year. Do you happen to know of anyone who is thinking of buying a property? If you don't ask for things, people won't think to give them to you, right? This is the A, the law of attraction, and B, it's the like letting people know what you do, right? Don't be a secret agent, right? You don't want to be a secret agent. Even if you are new, you know people, right? You don't have to have any past customers, right? You got to know people. And if you don't know of anyone, right, use Cole Realty and create a list of people who live in your neighborhood and reach out to them. And the other thing you can do to start a network is host open houses for experienced agents, right? People will come through the door. Those are people that you can then convert to work with, right? Open up your business pretty quickly. And if you need to find people to work with on that, let Michael or I know. So again, I want to kind of, I'm getting towards the end. I want to wrap up with what I said to Tom, right? Here are 8 things that you can do today and you can do every day. And if you just do these 8 things, you'll have millions of hours of work to do, right? And these are 8 things that cost you nothing to do, right? This is all 100% free. So no one can complain, I don't have any money to prospect, right? These are 8 things that you can do to prospect to create a bigger, wider sphere, right? You can post on social media. Again, Dewey talked about it at our meeting 2 weeks ago, right? Find your voice and start posting about it. That is free, and you'll start to build a business, and down the road, stuff will come of that, right? Urban Digs market report email, right? You can pull from Cole Realty and you can send an entire neighborhood a market report snapshot of what's going on in their neighborhood, right? To try to get people to start to engage with you. You can do the same thing. It's sort of, one is using Urban Digs, one is using Cole Realty. Again, and you can call and you can text people from Cole Realty, right? So you can reach out to an entire neighborhood for free. You can create squeeze pages and landing pages on MyWhiteGirt and send them out through emails, through texts, and through your social media posts as well. Sorry, I misspelled experience. You can sit an open house for experienced agents, right? You can call for sale by owner and expired listings and start prospecting that way, right? And that's a great lead in to our 12 o'clock call today is going to be going over this one more time, right? How to go after for sale by owner and expired listings because they are low hanging fruit that you can start to build a relationship with people for them. And probably the one that most people do not do ever in this office, right, is call other WhiteGirt agents and ask for referrals, right? There are 12,000 WhiteGirt agents across the United States. Find a way to connect with them, right? If you're from Texas, call everyone in the Texas offices. If you're from Florida, call everyone in the Florida offices. If you went to school in Virginia, call people in the Virginia offices, right? It's a way to connect with them. And what are you saying? I just want to make sure that you understand we have a great office here in New York, and I cover Tom can call and say, I cover New York and New Jersey, right? If you have anyone looking to buy in either state, here's my information, right? Don't wait for that referral to come in. Again, so many of you have gotten referrals from me, right? Judy Smith called from the Austin office and has a referral to give out, right? And you've gotten that from me, right? Wouldn't it be better if you could create those yourselves? And again, of those 12,000 people over the course of a year, how many do you think might have a referral in New York? Right? What's 1% of 12,000? 120. 10% is 1,200. 120.
Yeah.
So again, if 1% of those people have a referral, that's 120 deals. If you did 120 deals this year, how much money would you have made?
A lot.
A lot. So it doesn't take that much time to reach out to people. You will be successful this year if you want to be successful. This is the most important thing, right? You, and I say this to many of you all the time, the only person standing in the way of you succeeding is you. You are the only person. It is 100% you. You have tools, you have resources, you have support, you have things to do, you have leads, whatever it is, right? Interest rates do not matter. Inventory does not matter, right? None of those things matter because deals are still happening, right? Deals, there are still thousands of deals that happen in New York City every month. Probably tens of thousands if you count rentals, right? So again, nothing else matters but you. Set up another one-on-one, or we can have a weekly meeting, right? That's part of the reason that we do these weekly workshops, right? The rental group, the buyer group, the seller group, right? So we can check in, we can help you, right? And again, for anyone who's at the group today, right? You had assignments, right? There's homework you have to do to have us go forward, right? And we can do weekly check-ins to make sure that you're doing the things that you need to do. So that's it. Does anyone have any? I'm going to stop the recording. Thank you guys.